Hey girlies, it's Tammy. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a full face test in Pat McGrath. So I recently told you guys that I wanted to test on Pat McGrath because you guys highly recommended the brand. And I have never tried anything Pat McGrath, but they were lovely enough to send over some PR. So I kind of have like a full face worth of stuff. And I thought I would just like give you guys my first impressions. The only thing I have tried so far is their new mascara. This is called the Dark Star Mascara. And I've been using this for the past few days. Really nice mascara, but the rest of the products I haven't tried, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. First of all, really like the packaging, like the black and the gold. These are my two favorite type of colors. I always wear gold jewelry. I'm wearing a black top. Honestly, this is my vibe. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with primer. Of course, my eyebrows are Benefit Brow shade number 5, but I'm gonna take the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection primer. I really hope this is, I tend to like mattifying, pore blurring type of primers, so I hope this is not like dewy and stuff. I thought the primer would have a little bit more weight to it. It does just kind of feel like a plastic lightweight container. I was kind of expecting a little bit more like glass or luxury type of packaging, but it does feel kind of like, I don't want to say the word, but it doesn't feel expensive. But that's fine. It's all about how the product performs. So let's go ahead and try this. I'm gonna pump one on each side. And lately I like to blend out my primer with a brush. So I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that in. It is literally so windy today, guys, so if you can hear any type of storm outside, that's because there's a storm outside. Been breaking out quite a bit as well. I think it's the mask wearing that everyone's saying. I think they're calling it maskne. I can't remember what they're calling it, but yeah, that feels really nice. It does feel nice and cooling. I don't know why, but my face has got this cold type of feeling right now. It's not mattifying from what I can see, but it definitely has given me a smooth base. But of course I will need to test it a few more times because primers are something that you can't really tell what they're doing straight away. So for foundation, I got these two shades. I got Medium Deep 23 and Medium Deep 24. So I'm going to swatch them both for you, but I feel like I might need to mix them, or Medium Deep 23 might fit me. Now this packaging feels luxurious. It feels weighty. It's frosted glass. It's got the gorgeous gold. This feels really, really nice. Also comes with a nice gold pump. So this is the lighter shade. I think this might be me. So this is 23. I have no idea if these oxidize. The only thing I do know about this foundation, just based on watching other people's videos, I mean, I haven't watched any Pat McGrath videos specifically, but I have seen videos where people do use this foundation and they do say it's a very lightweight type of formula, and I'm not really into light coverages, but we'll see how much coverage it has. So this one is 24, Medium Deep 24. So do you see what I mean? I think I might need to mix them both. I feel like this one is me, but it might be a little bit too light. This one's definitely too warm tone and orangey. I'm going to start with this one, and if it's too light, I'll mix in a little bit of this one. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to pump some of that onto my face. Seems very liquidy, like it does drop very fast. And I'm going to blend that in with a brush. This brush is from my Crystal Clear face set. My brush set, by the way, just in case you don't know, I do have a website, MAKEUPBYTAMMI.com, where I sell eyeliners, lashes and brushes, so definitely check it out. But yeah, I can definitely see what people mean about the light coverage. It is even in my skin tone nicely, but you can definitely still see all of my scarring. And you know what, a couple months back when I wasn't breaking out as much, this would have been the type of coverage that I would go for, but because of my breakouts being horrible at the moment, it's just not enough coverage for me right now. I guess I could go in and spot conceal because it has evened out my skin tone nicely. I would say it's a low medium light coverage, but it does feel nice and lightweight on the face. It honestly doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything, and it has a nice skin like finish. It's not too dewy, but it's definitely not matte. Definitely not my normal full coverage foundation, but I don't think it's bad. It's evened out my skin tone. Typically what I would do is take my concealer. I've been using this one a lot lately. This is the Nabla Close-Up Concealer in the shade Almond, and I'll literally just spot conceal the areas that I want extra coverage. So I do tend to go in with one layer of foundation and then spot conceal with this, and that gives me more than enough coverage. I think I might have to do that today because the concealer that I have is like a light shade for underneath my eyes. So I'm going to take this concealer and just basically spot conceal everywhere that I think needs a little bit more coverage, and then take the same foundation brush and just dab that in, and this will cover everything. This concealer is honestly like so full coverage, so you guys can see everything's covered already just from that little bit of concealer. So them two paired together, perfect, lightweight, everyday combination. I see no problems. It looks really nice on the skin. A little bit dewy than what I'm used to, but I think if I paired it with my normal mattifying primer, I would like it more. Let's go ahead and move on to eyeshadow before we finish up the face. So I actually got one of the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. This one is the Mothership 8, I think, Divine Rose 2. And this is what the box is. I'm going to keep it in the box because the box is gorgeous, honey, but the actual packaging is just like plain black. Once again, this packaging is just as I expect, really weighty, really nice, soft magnetic close. Like it feels really nice and expensive, which is what we want for Pat McGrath prices, honey. But yeah, this is what the palette looks like. Loving this color, and also of course this duochrome. It looks pink but then it looks green. Like how stunning is that? It is a majority shimmer palette, which I don't really go for. Like if I was to purchase it with my own money, it would have needed a couple more mattes for it to be my style of palette. So you do only get 2 mattes in here, this light transition-y pink peach color and then this dark purpley color. So I do like that you get a dark outer V shade in here, but I wish there was just like a couple more mattes in here to give you variations. I don't know if Pat McGrath has an eye primer, but I don't have one, so I'm just going to use my ABH eye primer because I have like 4 tubes of these, so I might as well make my way through them. I do really like it as well. It dries down nice and matte, so it's easy to blend like the eyeshadows on top of it, but the shade kind of blanks out my eye and it gives like a good base for the shades to pop. So first I'm going to start with the crease color, which is of course that pink peachy matte shade, this one here, and I'm going to start that into the crease. Wow, look at that pigment. It's a lot darker than I thought it would be as well. I suppose because Pat McGrath is of course a chocolate babe, she will make sure that her palettes have shades that will show up on darker skin, which is amazing. Quite a bit of kickback in the pan, if you guys can see that, but that's fine, it doesn't bother me. Blending out really nicely. See, I don't find myself using the mirror just because it doesn't bend all the way back. Yeah, that is a gorgeous shade. Love how that's blending, love how it's showing up on my skin tone. Even on days that I don't want like a dark outer V and I just want a soft everyday color, this would be perfect with a gold all over the lid. I'm gonna go into the dark berry plummy type of shade, and this seems very pigmented. I'm gonna start that on the outer V. It is going slightly patchy though. I wonder if I started with the darker shade, probably wouldn't have done that. I mean, I usually do start with the darker shade, but I thought because it's only 2 shades that I'm using today, I could just do it this way, but it is going patchy. Let me try this side. Yeah, this side's going patchy as well. And I'm kind of stamping it on, but it's just not sticking to that area. What's going on? What's going on? So what I think I'm gonna have to do, take my brush that I primed with and kind of dab some primer, leftover primer over that area. It's a little bit disappointing because of course it's only 2 mattes. It's not like I was building 4 or 5 different mattes on top of each other, but it should stick now that it has that fresh primer down. I mean, it's sticking better, but it looks like I've got black in the crease now and then like purple brown on the outer V. I don't know if you guys see what I mean. Like it's darker in the crease than it is on the outer V. I like to think that I'm good at eyeshadow, so I don't understand why this is happening. I'm gonna go back with my previous brush and the first shade that I used and try blend that out. I mean, it is taking a little bit more effort and time than I thought it would just to blend 2 mattes together, but I feel like we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. I will need to try it again, but I'm not impressed with that dark shade. I was really happy with the first one, but that dark shade went really patchy, and even till now I can see a little bit of patch. But I think if I was to try this again, I would start with the dark shade and then blend out with the lighter shade and see if that makes a difference. Let me know if you have this palette, how you use it. Do you start with the lighter or the darker shade? Let me know. So now for the lid, of course, I'm going to go into this gorgeous duochrome shade right here, and I'm going to take that on a flat brush and I'm going to pat that all over the lid. I feel like you guys are going to mostly see it as a pink because you're seeing me kind of front on, but as I turn my head, it should turn green. And that's applying beautifully. Like, I didn't need to wet it. It didn't need an extra base. It's just really nice. Maybe this is why they have more shimmers in the palette than mattes, because the shimmer formulation is beautiful compared to the mattes. And then for my inner corner, I'm gonna go into this shade here. Looks to be like a pink. Yeah. It's applying nicely, but I don't think it's the same formula as the shimmer that I put on the lid. It's a little bit more powdery, but it still looks beautiful. Overall, I like how the eyes have finally turned out, but I feel like it just took a little bit more effort than I'm used to for such a simple eye look. So next we're gonna move on to the concealer, which I've heard nothing but good things about, so I'm really excited to try this. This is meant to have really good coverage. So it says weightless, full coverage, high performance. Once again, packaging feels really nice and weighty, glass packaging. So it's just the primer that kind of has like a cheap feel to it. So the doe foot is not a large one, but it does seem to look like it's picked up quite a bit of product. So let's see if I have to keep dipping in. It's a nice color for me, but yeah, that seems to be applying a decent amount of product. And I'm going to blend that in with this brush from Real Techniques. This is the contour brush, but I like it to blend out my concealer. Okay, so this blends out really nicely. It's a good shade for me. Wish it was like maybe one shade lighter just to give me that brightening effect, but that's my fault for picking this shade. Yeah, I can already tell this coverage is amazing. It is so much better than the foundation coverage, and maybe that's what they intended. So you get like a lightweight, even skin tone, but then you go in with the concealer and you really cover where you need to. I would love this concealer in a like my foundation shade as well, so I can spot conceal with it. Sits really nice on the skin. At the moment it's a little bit more dewy than I would go for, but I can easily just powder it. It's not a big deal. So for powder, I have the under eye powder, which is like a pressed, domed, maybe baked powder, and this is the shade Deep, the darkest shade. And then for all over my face, this is the loose setting powder in the shade Medium number 3, and this is what this one looks like. I feel like this might turn my foundation a little bit orangey. So for now, we're going to take this one, the under eye blurring powder, on this. Oh, that's got a lot of powder fallout, but this is a Real Techniques setting brush. I'm going to take this, like look at that, the powder's just dropping from here, and I'm going to press that underneath my eyes. Yeah, this is not a brightening shade for me. That's actually quite darkening. It's not terrible, but it's definitely a lot darker than what I tend to go for underneath my eyes. But it's definitely mattifying and setting down that base. So if you don't like the brighter look and you do like your skin tone to be your skin tone or like one tone, this would be a good powder. But I like it. I like the formula. I'm just complaining about the color, but I do like the formula. Oh, this looks really orange. Oh, this is a very finely milled powder. It's not as orange as I thought. This is what it looks like. That's a swatch of it there. So it actually does come out, it's very smoothing, it feels very soft, but it does come out a little bit lighter than how it looks in the pan, which is good. So I might just take a dab of it and just try and set my face, and let's see what it does on the outside of my face. It's mattifying it nicely, setting that down. So what I think I'm going to do is take my Beauty Bakery translucent powder just to brighten like my highlight areas underneath my eyes, my chin, my nose, those type of areas. Just going to take it on a little powder puff and try brighten this up. Now usually these days I don't use this much powder, but because I feel like the brightening is necessary, I'm probably gonna have to do the most with setting spray today to kind of rehydrate my face, but I really just want to bring the brightness back. But so far, really impressed with these two products. The concealer is standing out to me, and also the under eye powder. I really like the looseness of it, even though it's a pressed powder. I like that when you dip your brush into it, you definitely see the kickback and like you pick up enough powder. So I don't have a bronzer from Pat McGrath. I don't think they do bronzers yet. So for bronzer today, I'm using my palette with Revolution and Bronze Goddess, just a little bit of that because I feel like I'm already a bronze goddess. Okay, so now I'm gonna try and dust away this extra baking powder. I hope this works because I haven't baked in so long. Yeah, that's done the job. That's brightened me back up in the center. Little bit dehydrated and dry, but still flawless. I'm gonna go ahead and use a setting spray to bring life back to my skin. I also don't have a blush or a highlight from Pat McGrath, so I'm just gonna take the ones from my palette and just blush up my cheeks. Okay, I think it's time to rehydrate my face. I'm going to take the Too Faced Hangover primer and setting spray. This is nearly finished, but this gives me such a nice skin-like finish to my skin. Okay, that's looking so much better now that I have a little bit more of a glow to my skin. So I'm going to take those two matte shades from the Pat McGrath palette again underneath my lower lash line. Time for mascara. So this is the Dark Star mascara. I believe she has another one, the Fetish mascara or something like that, but this is the one that I have from them and I've been loving it. I've been using it for the past few days. Really nice and thickening and lengthening, and I love brushes that are like this, really kind of fluffy and full. It really lets me get up in the lashes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that. I'm gonna do one eye so you guys can see the difference, like side by side. Okay, so there's one coat of the mascara, and I hope you guys can see it's not clumpy, but it's thickening and lengthening. It's definitely separated out my lashes as well. I really hope, I'm gonna give you a close up. Yeah, I hope that's better so you guys can see my lashes up close and just how amazing this mascara is. Okay, so mascara on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with lip gloss, of course, and this is the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in the shade Faux Real, and of course it is a peachy nude, my favorite. But I'm gonna start with MAC Chestnut Lip Liner. I really hope this is a, oh, that's a nice big doe foot. I hope it's a semi-pigmented, not sticky gloss. Oh, that looks promising. Yeah, I love that. I'm really happy with that formula. It's really not sticky at all, really comfortable, glossy, but it has a nice peachy tint to it. So is that everything? That's everything. Okay, so that is everything that I had to test, guys. Full face of Pat McGrath. What do you think? Overall, I'm really impressed. I feel like the base products impressed me the most. The foundation formula is really nice, but I don't like the coverage. I wish it had a little bit more pigment, at least give me medium buildable, you know, light coverage. I'm just not about that life, but it feels really lightweight. Like I said, easily can go in with my full coverage concealer and spot conceal, or even I feel like this would be a good one if you have your face shade to go in and spot conceal, because this was really full coverage as well. The concealer was definitely a standout product to me. I really love the coverage. I like the way it looked on my skin. We'll of course need to test it and see if it's like compatible with my other face products that I use all the time, but overall really impressed with the base products and the under eye setting powder. Absolutely gorgeous. Just wish I had the shade medium so it would brighten underneath my eyes. This powder as well, really nice and soft and smooth and finely milled. Felt amazing when I swatched it, and it set down my, like, the outside of my face perfectly. So yeah, really like this powder. We'll probably end up using it as an all over outside of my face powder. Outside of my face? Outskirts of my face type of powder. The mascara I love, the lip gloss I love. I really loved everything, to be honest with you guys, and I can easily see them making their way into my everyday makeup routine. The only thing that I wasn't in love with, I mean, I love the shimmer that I use, this one, and even the inner corner shade. Gorgeous, beautiful shimmers, but the mattes, you saw what problem I had with them. It's only two mattes. I find that sometimes mattes go patchy when you try lay like a yellow, an orange, a purple, like all of those shades packed on top of each other. They tend to go patchy, but when you're only laying down two mattes, I feel like they should stick. There was no reason for that purple to not stick in certain areas because it was so close to the primer. It's not like it had layers and layers of eyeshadow underneath it. It was only one eyeshadow underneath it and it still didn't stick, so that's a bit weird to me. Going forward, I think it might just be mattes that I need to start with the darker shade. I will try that the next time I use this palette, but overall I like it. I'm just not in love with it, especially for the price. I wish that those mattes layered a bit better. But yeah, that is my thoughts on Pat McGrath, guys. Let me know all of yours down below. I know some people are going to say that I did something wrong with the eyeshadow, and I most likely did, because so many people rave about these palettes. I probably did something wrong, I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna go now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Take care. Bye.